Saints up in Green Bay. Apparently, our friend Luke Johnson just had to explain to Dennis Allen what a cheese curd was. Come on, DA. You got to know what a cheese curd is. You don't have to have been to Wisconsin a bunch of times to know that. But I'm glad Luke, who is from Wisconsin, was Johnny on the spot, could help him out there. Sharief Ishaq, not on location up in Green Bay, but good enough to check in with us now. Sharief, how are you, sir?
It's too cold for me to be up there. I don't
It's-
want to be in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, you got to have 100. That's the only way to live. So you can put your little your umbrella hat on at camp. That's what you need.
Yep, man. I need to sweat. I need to, keep shredding. I need to be in the heat. I need to expose my receding hairline. I need it all.
Then just stay right there in Metairie. You'll be just fine. Texans beat the Saints 17-13. Biggest story for you from that game on Saturday night?
That the Saints have a great backup in Andy Dalton, who is very comfortable and already knows Pete Carmichael's system and would be very viable backup for the Saints if Jameis Winston were to go down. I think you plug him in and everything is just fine. But, in those preseason games, defenses are pretty much – they're running base defense. They're not running anything super complicated. It still looks smooth on that first drive going 5 for 5 and, hitting his receivers on third down. And the offensive line on the screen, Pete and McCoy, blocking for Dwayne Washington, kicking out in front. I mean, it looked good. I mean, the first drive looked good. The defense looked fine to me. I'm not really judging on what happened in the fourth quarter because those guys weren't even be on the team. I know for the most part they were playing very well into that final 2-minute drive, but I'm only looking at the players that are going to be on this team. And, Paulson Adebo continues with being PBU. So I think, he's doing a good job. So I'm just anxious to see how today I'm just following along from my house and just looking at everybody's tweets and how, it seemed like it was dominated by both defenses. Jameis Winston, he worked out a little bit in the morning, didn't take part in the team drills. Aaron Rodgers did a little bit. He didn't do as much. So it would seem like it'd be dominated by the defenses, which doesn't surprise me when you have the backup quarterbacks playing against good defense.
You mentioned guys that are going to be on the team. Is Ian Book going to be on the team?
Look, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think so.
You're
Another guy
going to toss him on the heap with Garrett Grayson and Sean Canfield as the Sean Payton late round draft choices.
Look, some people are trying to blame it on the offensive line, and I'm blaming it on his intermediate throws being just awful. Like, he sails a lot of throws. It's just not there. You know what he does well? He can break the pocket and scramble. I mean, maybe they should have changed his position and had him in a slot type of receiver last season.
Easy now.
What? I mean, he's a good athlete.
He's a fine athlete. I don't want him in the slot.
I don't know. Do something with him,
Some
man.
juice, man.
I mean, look, man. I need to ask Brian Kelly how he was the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history.
Well, that's the point. If he can win a bunch of games with Ian Book, we're going to win 15 games this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sharief Ishaq's our guest, talking Saints. What did you make of Trevor Penning's debut in the black and gold?
Man, there was that one series when he could not handle the speed rush.
Yeah.
Got back-to-back times. He let the edge rusher get underneath him and right by him and hit Ian Book, and then there was a holding call on another series. There were some good plays now, but it just seems like you saw a lot of the bad ones. I don't understand Pro Football Focus's grade, giving him the highest grade of all the first-round rookies. I know a lot of them didn't play, and he got a 90 grade, and I'm sure Trevor wasn't happy with the way he played. There were some good plays, but I felt like there's a little bit more bad. There was more bad than good for him in that game. And look, it was his first game. Now if he would have had a great game, I wouldn't have said, "Oh my God, he should be the starting left tackle." I thought in these practices it was a lot closer between he and James Hurst, and I see the game like, oh, maybe it's not as close right now. But he could have a good game and good practices this week against the Packers, and I might just reverse it a little bit. But I'm not really going to take much stock into it until 2 more weeks. I want to see him play 2 more games.
I know Jameis is, slowly getting back to it. I heard he had some pads on today and trying to work back into the lineup. Do you want to see Jameis at all during the preseason, or do you think he's good to go for the regular season? He doesn't really need to get those reps out there.
I'd like to see them go one series with the starters in the game against the Chargers, the final preseason game, the only one at home. I want to see them get a series in because I need to see a little bit of chemistry and see what they have. You don't replicate, game like stuff in practice. And I know these people say, well, these joint practices, but I'd like to see it in the game, just one series. maybe 2. I know you don't want to get hurt, but if you're playing not to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. I mean, that's just how it is in football. I'd like to see them for a series, maybe 2 against the Chargers, because Mike hasn't played in almost 2 years. Jameis, he was out for 10 games. I'd like to see the chemistry between those two guys. Plus, I want to see how he works with Olave and Jarvis and how the line blocks him. I mean, I just think that you got to have some cohesion there in terms of game-like speed.
I didn't love what I saw from the running backs. I didn't think it was atrocious. I didn't like the fumbles, of course, but I didn't love what I saw from the running backs. Anything from you on Saturday?
Blah.
Yeah.
You know, I keep continuing to say the third running back isn't on this roster. I'll keep saying it. I still think they need to go find someone. Even if Kamara doesn't get suspended this season, they still need a very viable third running back because Mark is 32 years old. You know, I mean, I don't know how much he keeps saying he has a lot of tread on the tires, but you never know. You just need a reliable third back in that offense. I'm just not really, into it. What I see with the Zigbo and Tony Jones, Abram Smith, and Dwayne Washington is a special teamer. You know, he had one good game a few years ago whenever the Saints won the division and they were already the number 1 seed. I think it was 18. And they lost to the Rams in the championship game. There, he had a 108-yard game against the Panthers in the finale. But is he your number 3 back? No, he's not. You really do need to find somebody who's like a young vet out there once the cuts happen.
So Hunt and I did a segment earlier. We kind of went through the Saints schedule for the season, and I think we ended up at about 11-7. Wait, we were 11-6. 11-6. Yeah, I get the numbers mixed up. 11-6. Do you think 11 wins is on the table for the Saints this season?
You know, Jeff Duncan did a column last week, and he asked all the media, like, why and what do you think they're going to finish? A lot of us picked 11-6.
You apparently gave him a whole book on it.
I did. I gave him pretty much a thesis statement. I was a little upset when he only used 2 sentences, but essentially I looked at it as, look, yes, Sean Payton is gone. Okay, that's like 2 or 3 wins. But you got to remember, they got destroyed by COVID, destroyed by injuries. Will Lutz is worth at least a game and a half. How many games did they lose last season because Will Lutz wasn't the kicker?
For sure one.
The Titans game, maybe the Giants game he could have been used. I mean, let's just say a game and a half. Thomas, all the receivers they were using last year, I mean, those guys may not even touch the field that much. I mean, Callaway is at the bottom of the depth chart when you look at what's going on with the receivers. And you just got to think with a healthy offense, new players, the defense is going to continue being the defense. And I understand Dennis Allen is the question mark, but he still has Pete Carmichael, still has Chris Richard and Ryan Nielsen running the defense. He's running the defense as well. So I look at it as 11-6. I know the schedule's tough after the 6th game, and they're going against, some of the NFL's best. If they can start 4-1 and then go 3-3 or 4-2 in that next stretch, they're going to be in a good spot to finish with 11 wins. They just got to stay healthy. That's all. I mean, everyone goes through injury issues. They just got to stay as healthy as possible.
I'm surprised Jeff couldn't fit all that into a nice little tidy piece to his column there. That's on him, I think. You definitely summed that up quite nicely.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he like Luke got him for saying, man, Luke got him for the 250 words that he put at the very end of the column. Mine was probably like 400 words.
What do you expect to see on Friday night? Any Jameis? I mean, what are we looking for? Mike Thomas going to be out there?
I'd be a little shocked if those two guys or Kamara, you might be seeing something close to what you saw last week. Maybe a couple other starters play. These 2 practices are way more important this week. I know I said that they should have some of these starters play for a series and get the cohesion down and chemistry, but not this week. I think these 2 practices, you should take a lot from these 2 practices and maybe run what you did last week, maybe add a few more starters here and there, but I wouldn't put Mike and Taysom and Jameis out there. Just listening to Dennis Allen's press conference just now, they're going to make a decision about what they're going to do with him tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow morning. I mean, he was out there for a little bit today, then he took the pads off. So, hey, look, I really like the fact that they're being very cautious with anybody with an injury. That's an important play. The last thing you want is to say, "Oh, why is Jameis not out there? All right, let's just throw him out there to keep everyone happy," and then he re-aggravates that foot or tweaks his knee. That's the last thing you want in a joint practice. And I think that maybe we see him tomorrow for a little bit of a light drills. I don't know, maybe 7-on-7s or some 1-on-1s, but they'll make that decision tonight or tomorrow morning.
Sharief Ishaq, too good for the 71-degree day up there in Green Bay. He'd rather be in Metairie where it's 100. So go stand in a parking lot somewhere and sweat.
I love the sweat, man. That's why I look so good, Hunt. Come on.
All right, Sharief. We'll talk next week.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.